Hi guys, thank you for tuning in and watching my video. I understand the tier 1 update has taken a little bit longer than it needed to. I've just been a little busy, but I appreciate you guys tuning in and watching it. So pretty much we're just going to be going down a quick rundown on what the gear that you're going to be wanting to look for, your build in Greatsword Staff for tier 1. Alrighty, so let's just start off with our attributes real quick. We're looking at 50 strength, so we get that heavy attack chance, 100. Which is a very good addition. Dex, we just want that bonus damage and crit attack with that 40. This also gives us attack speed and critical hit chance, which is also a really nice added bonus. Wisdom 5, granted is you could put this into Dex and put this into, put it anywhere you want. I just like the extra mana regen and a little bit of mana. And then Perception, we got that to 50, and the reason why that is that it increases our hit chance, our stun chances, or any CC effect chance, and for example, it will also increase our attack range by 7.5%. So we get a little bit of a range increase. And this would also affect the Greatsword too. So now we'll go on to the weapons. I think everybody already knows the Talon Staff, in my opinion, is the best in slot. The Fury Blade on NA is also a phenomenal choice. If you're not going to be using the Duke Magnas, or this is a new one, I would actually argue is actually a pretty solid piece, is the Mordecai Blade. And there's a specific reason why I think the Mordecai Blade is a solid pick. One, it increases our hit chance to 1,200, and it will also increase our stun chance. This is, in my opinion, this is a solid pick when you use the barrier. That doesn't mean necessarily it's 100% true, it's just something that you could look at. You just have to remember leveling up 2 boss weapons is super expensive, so don't expect to level up 2 at the same time. Alrighty, so let's just go over the jewelry, because this really hasn't changed since T1. So we're still using Butcher's Belt. We want that max health HP. We pretty much get 1,000 HP from this belt alone. Damage reduction and weaken resistance. That's also a good plus. I like the internal ring just due to the fact that the 4 dex and 3 strength and movement speed is always really a strong bonus. Also, you don't necessarily need stun chance. You could go straight into buff duration, collision, either way. These are all solid picks. The unshakable gold ring is another phenomenal pick. The reason why is it provides just overall good benefits, attack speed, strength, and stun chance, which is all we're going to want to use in this build anyways. Okay, let's get to the important part, I guess. The cloak is still the same. The Archpeak's Devotion the name is different. I believe it's called the Supreme Devotion now on NA. The reason why I like this piece, we get some cooldown, we get critical hit chance, and we get mana regen. So I've known that there's a lot of people that are having mana regen problems with this build, and for the way to counter that would be going mana regen. So if you look at my stats on the right hand side right here, we want that 741 mana regen because this will apply a huge amount of longevity to the build. So I'd recommend this piece. Supreme Devotion, you just get 100 mana regen. And also, there's a reason why I went to Grim Judicator's Torch, or Touch I should say. One, it's also a really good pick. You get Perception, attack speed, and mana regen. So we're getting another 100 mana regen just from these 2 pieces with some endurance and strength. So we're able to hit this insanely high 741 only on 15. You could lower it down and it would still be 723, but overall, not a bad pick. Alrighty, for the pieces that are important, the reason why I like the Special Resistance Hawk Hood, mostly because of the max health is really nice, but we also get hit chance and critical hit chance. When I mean hit chance is probably the most important skill as of right now until people's builds get more into the endurance range. We want to make sure we have increased hit. People that are rocking roughly around 1,400 to 1,500 hit evasion, you would roughly have like a 60% chance to hit them. But when you rock, where is it? Victorious Energy, this increases our hit chance by 460, which is quite overall. So we're looking around 1,400, which raises our chances of hitting opponents up to 80 to 75% chance. So very strong and something not to be actually sleeping on. All right, and it's just a good piece. It's hit chances and critical is super important for PvP. Alrighty, let's get on to the next part. The bracelets, these are the same. I like the Beast King just because it offers perception and bonus damage and just has good perks. So it's just a really good one for damage. And same thing with the Abyssal Conqueror's necklace. We get some strength, perception, and mana regen with health and skill damage boost and buff duration. So we're looking at some pretty solid HP while some really good mana regen. Reaper's Pants, these ones are a solid pick because what it offers us is perception, hit mana regen, and hit chance. So we get to raise our hit chance up even more, which with this setup here alone, we're hitting 1,000. So just know that's actually really strong. The general charge boots is something I use back on KR. Phenomenal. I love these things. One, you get high mobility, 5% movement speed with 6 strength. That doesn't include the fact that we can raise our movement speed by another 8% with melee and ranged endurance. Very strong. Next, we would go on to the General's Thunder Heart. Just so you know, you can get this piece from one of the dungeons. I believe it's Death Abyss. So we'd get max health, melee endurance, and range endurance. So what we're looking at for this setup is a pretty good equalized HP, so we're tanky, but also a good hit chance to actually land our blows on opponent. And overall, 1,000 hit chance is meta, so don't ever sleep on hit chance. Hit chance, if you feel like you're never hitting anyone, that is because your hit chance is low. And for example, tanks have incredibly high evasion right now, so hitting them with melee attacks is almost impossible. Our evasion is low, but that's perfectly fine. We have high defense. So the one thing you just want to know is that our melee and magic endurance is only 480, which is a little low, but our range endurance is insanely high. So this is really good for Guild v Guild content because you're going to be getting hit by Flash Wave, Tornado, the crossbows, Whirlwind attack. So overall, we want to make sure we're more optimized for PvE, the Guild v Guild and small scale. Well, with everything so far, what we're rocking at is 16,000 HP. If you're using Da Vinci's Courage, you'll probably be like 16,700, roughly around there. Don't worry about health regen, as we just don't have much sustain overall in this build. But we do have some pretty solid ways to maintain mana, is through max mana being 9,000 and a 741. Most people would recommend 600, but for this build, I would highly recommend a higher max mana. We get some pretty solid skill damage boost up to 335. Cooldown speed's 22%, buff duration's 43, and debuff duration. I think this is a good starting point. If you wanted to swap these pieces out, for example, for another 2-piece set like the Wolf, you definitely can. But yeah, so this is the video for the T1 purple gear guide for the Greatsword staff. If you guys have any other questions, just please let me know. If you guys have any questions or concerns, just catch me in my live stream. I've been live streaming just so people can come in and answer any questions. I will have down below some video guides, or down below will be the link to this build so people can look at it themselves and figure out, hey, is this something I want to do? So always keep that in mind. But yeah, I hope you guys have a good rest of your day. And I hope to see you guys out there on the battlefield when server mergers happen and stuff like that. So just keep that in mind.